What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
Man, I'm doing good. Doing good.
All right. Welcome to Trust Me, Bro.
Yeah, man. Welcome. What'd you think of the games this week?
Pretty good games. I had fun watching them on Thanksgiving, of course, and then some good games here and there on Sunday. And I don't know about the game tonight. I think the first half was all defense and not a whole lot of offense. But looks like
Yeah.
those defenses got worn down, and we saw a little bit of offense in the second half, but wasn't
Yep.
exactly the two best teams for a Monday night football game. I think when the schedule makers were putting their schedule together, they thought both those teams would be doing a little bit better than they're doing this season. So
Yeah, no kidding, man. It was kind of a snoozer, especially the first
Yeah.
half.
oh yeah,
So, but cool,
Yep.
man. Well, let's see what we got. We're getting down to it, man. It's we've got maybe 3 games left until playoffs. Is that right?
I think two actually.
Two?
I think it's coming right down to it. Yeah, so it's pretty much do or die. In some of these leagues, if you're on the brink of making the playoffs, you got to win out these next two, or you're done. So now's the time
Yep.
that if you got any rabbits in your hat, you better pull them out, because this is
Yeah.
it. You've got to do what it takes to win these next two games, to live another day. And so that means
That's right, man.
if you gotta take some shots on some of these waiver wire guys, if you got somebody not performing or somebody injured, it's just not going to come back within these next 2 weeks, you may have to pull the plug on them and do what
Yep.
it takes to win these games.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, this is where it's made. It doesn't matter what your record is going into the playoffs. It starts over. So
That's right.
let's
Yep.
see what we got, man. Let's see if we got some potential winners out there that can get somebody to the playoffs.
Hope so, man. I've got 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and 3 quarterbacks. Couldn't find any tight ends, so I'm skipping that this week.
I got 1 tight end on my board. I've got 3 quarterbacks, 2 receivers, and 3 wide receivers, and one tight end that you can take a nice little swing at. Let's see if you can get a double or a triple.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you're going to get a home run, man. There's
Right.
no home run tight ends out there. Hence, you don't have
There's
any on
not.
your board.
There's not. Yeah, it's Kelsey, and then there's everyone else. So.
Yep. Cool. What do you want to start with? Running backs?
Yeah, let's start with running backs. Go ahead and hit me with your first running back, Craig.
Yeah. So, we'll see how this goes. But I certainly was impressed with him, and that was Jermichael Hasty,
Yep.
owned in 0.8% of the leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Not very well known out there for sure, but what do you have? Was it 2 carries for 28 yards, but 5 catches for 67 and a tutty?
Nice.
Ended up with 20 points. That was obviously when
Etienne.
Etienne went down. And
Right.
seems like he might play next week, but keep an eye on it. I think if he's not going to play, or if he's going to be limited, Hasty might be a good option for you. He's got Detroit coming up, so
Mm-hmm.
even if Etienne is in there, Hasty could see some touches here with Detroit.
Yeah. That's a good call right there.
Yeah.
And so, I actually went the other side of that. I went with Darrell Henderson Jr. for the Jags. Thinking that just in case Travis Etienne doesn't play, like you said, they are playing Detroit in Week 13. Darrell Henderson Jr. is only 47% owned. He didn't exactly, set the world on fire with the Rams this season, but I think there might have been something else going on there. It didn't look like Sean McVay really liked him, and it seemed like he was in the doghouse most of the year. And so, maybe with a fresh start in Jacksonville, that if Etienne really is hurt, if they're just if the coaches are just kind of playing games this early on in the practice week, and trying to make it look like Etienne isn't that bad, and then all of a sudden Friday's rolled out, I don't know. But either of those guys you and I just mentioned, depending on who is named the starter, or even both of them, who knows, man? Maybe your guy could be the third down back and catch a ton of passes just like he did this past
that's
Sunday.
what I'm thinking he's worth. I think he's a pass catching guy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Henderson's not a bad call either.
Yeah, if you can get Henderson in there for the ones and twos,
Yep.
to first and second down, and then get your guy in there on third, and maybe they can both contribute
Yep.
to people's fantasy teams.
Yeah. Definitely worth a look, man. What you got? What's first on your board?
Okay, next up, I've got Khalil Herbert with the Bears. He is 41% owned, and he'll be back week 16, when he plays the Lions in week 17. So that might be a good pick right there, just as a grab and stash. 41% owned. So Khalil Herbert. Who you got next?
Okay, cool. Yeah, man, you froze up a little bit there, so I didn't quite catch what all you had to say. When's Herbert coming back?
He'll be back in week 16.
16. Okay, that's what I thought I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I've got Ty Johnson.
Okay.
1.1% owned, 62 yards and a tutty, another catch for 16 yards. Carter's got a potential to be out for the Jets.
Yeah.
So he might be the next guy in line. There's also somebody else there. I think Knight is his name.
Mm-hmm.
But one of those two I think would be a good one to take a swing at.
Yeah, it's funny how we're going this week. I'm actually taking the other side of that. It does look like Michael Carter is injured. I saw the news today that he had a low ankle sprain instead of the dreaded high ankle sprain. And so I'm going to go with James Robinson of the Jets. He is 62% owned. I have seen him do really well with the Jags, last season, and he was traded earlier this year. I could see, him breathing some new life into that offense this year, especially if Michael Carter is out. Let's just say he's out for, definitely this week and then maybe another week or so. I could see them leaning on James Robinson.
What'd you say, 62% owned?
Yeah, he's above our threshold, but he's out there in 38% of leagues. So
yeah, and I think at this point in the season, we're kind of getting there, man.
Yeah.
That 50% threshold just may not be, you're definitely reaching for the scrap pile at that point.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At this point, you're going to want people that are, going to see the field. We don't have any time for projects at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Cool. Who else you got for running back?
Well, that's it. I had Darrell Henderson, Khalil Herbert, and James Robinson. That's it.
Cool.
You got anybody else?
Nope.
Okay, let's switch to wide receiver.
Yeah, man. I've got a guy that smoked me this last week, and that's Zay Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Saw him in the lineup, and I'm like, oh, wow. This guy's really reaching for the bottom, but 31% owned. He went off, man. 11 catches for 145 yards. He's had 10-plus targets over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, so he's definitely got some upside to him.
Very good, man. You know what? I also had Zay Jones written down, and that must have been Marcus who smoked you with Zay Jones.
Yep.
I think I was talking to him about that tonight, and he said that he picked him up in week 4 or 5 or something like that. I was like, how did you know about this Zay Jones guy? He's like, I've been playing him for weeks. So
has he really been playing him? I've been watching him a little bit, but he just really hasn't shined, until these last couple weeks. He's starting to come on. But hey, just like in the fantasy playoffs, man, you get that hot hand, you get rolling.
Yeah.
I like it.
Could
be a good one to look for.
Yeah, he's 25% owned, and in Yahoo leagues, it looks like you found 31% on the ESPN side.
Yep.
24 targets, 19 grabs for 213 yards, plus a 2-point conversion in the last 2 games. So he's averaging over 100 yards a game, with damn near 10 yards a 10 catches a game over these past 2 games. So he's really turned it on.
Yep, so, that's for sure, man.
That's a good
first one on your board.
Okay, so Zay Jones was my number 3. I'm going with Treylon Burks. I know you brought this name up last week. It's with the Titans, 51% owned on Yahoo leagues. 20 targets with 14 grabs over the last 3 games for 194 yards, and he scored a tutty when he jumped on that Henry fumble. So Yeah, he's got a lot of potential. I think I left him off my list last week because there was potential there for a one hit wonder, but here he is. He's gotten on base 2 weeks in a row, so 15 fantasy points each week. So he's pretty solid, and he's got a lot of talent.
He was number 3 on my list, man. I was going to bring him back up again this week, but I mean, hey, if Henry can fumble at the goal line and he can jump on it once a week, I mean, that's 6 points right there.
Yeah, that's right. They need to make that part of their plan.
Yeah, I like it. Henry won't like it. Henry owners won't like it. But
no.
Yeah,
I'm a Henry owner, so no, this is it.
You don't want that, right?
Nope.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
So,
yeah. Next one I've got is Elijah Moore, 33% owned. Only had 2 grabs, went for 64 yards and a tutty though. And I mean, you and I were watching them together, and he just kind of had that. He did pass the eye test, man. He had the look of somebody that's, got some potential now that White's behind center.
Yeah.
He's a scrappy little guy. I think he can. I think he's got some upside. He can continue to thrive with White at quarterback.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I know we texted about him on Sunday. He passed the eye test. He made my eye test list for sure.
Yep.
The only thing that gave me pause was the 2 targets. 2 catches for 2 targets, and but one of those went for a touchdown. And so he's a good player. He had been asking for a trade, right up to the trade deadline, kind of like Brandon Cooks down in Houston. Didn't get the trade he was asking for. He was disgruntled with Zach Wilson and didn't want to play for him anymore. And, he was complaining about not getting the ball. He's one of those guys in the locker room talking about, I need the ball, I need the ball, I need the ball. And so he's asking to get fed. And so by all means, I think Mike White's going to feed him. And we'll see what he does with it. Yeah, I think that's a promising pick right there, especially in a league or even a league that I'm in, where I'm playing Tyler Boyd and just watching him put up 5s and 3s and a 0. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know. I can't continue to do that. So I may end up going for Elijah Moore and see what happens.
For sure, man. What else you got on your list?
Okay, my last wide receiver, because we also had Zay Jones, will be Donovan Peoples-Jones. Plays for the Browns. He's 50% owned, at least on the Yahoo side. He has double-digit fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 games, and Watson's coming back next week.
Yeah.
And so I've got a feeling that his targets are going to increase. Of course, they still got Coop there, but I think that things could definitely, turn around for the rest of the season or just get better from here on out is what I think is most likely going to happen. Excuse me. I know you're breaking up a little bit here, but that's okay. Hey, you back?
There you are.
All right. Yeah, let's just keep it rolling.
Yep.
When it's uploaded, everything will seem fine.
Cool.
Okay. So we talked about DPJ. You got any other wide receivers?
No, man, that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
So you go ahead and hit me with that tight end you got.
Yeah, man. This is a flyer, but I think every damn tight end on the list is a flyer at this point, man. Tight end's a tough spot. It seems like every one of them I pick up, they do great for a game or two, and then they flop on me. Like Higbee. Foster Moreau. Foster Moreau at 35% owned. 3 for 33 in a tutty. I feel like Derek Carr is getting it going a little bit. You don't have Waller there to take away any of the targets from the tight end position. So, he's somebody I think that could contribute to you. He may be good for 8 to 12 points, but, hey, that's better than some of the tight ends are putting up these days.
Yeah, why not? He's worth a dart throw. I mean, I know a lot of fantasy analysts were on Moreau this weekend for some reason, and so it looks like he paid off with the tutty. So,
yeah.
I guess they got that one right.
I think so, man. That's all I've got on tight ends. So, what you got on quarterbacks, brother?
Okay, so I mentioned this name a little bit earlier. His name's Deshaun Watson, plays for the Browns. 58% owned. So he's a little bit above our threshold, 58.
Yep.
But that means he's still available in 42% of the leagues. And so he comes back this week for his revenge game at Houston. And so, I don't know how great he's going to be, in his first game back, but I know he's got motivation to stick it to Houston. So we'll see what he can do.
I think it's a delicate balance between that motivation to stick it to him and rust.
Mm-hmm.
He's been out of the game since, almost 2 years now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, been through a lot. I'm sure he's been practicing. I'm sure he's been throwing the ball through the tire,
Yeah.
But, I think he's still got to get that game flow back. So, I agree. I think he could be one that could, kind of settle in and be a good fantasy playoff run quarterback for you.
Yep.
Just a little bit nervous about the first game, man.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you're in a team where you're desperate and you've been playing Aaron Rodgers and
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson and Russell Wilson, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
If you've been playing those cast of characters, then you might as well just throw Watson in there, hope for the best, right?
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
And that's exactly what I'm doing in one of my leagues.
Yeah, you putting yourself in?
No, Deshaun Watson.
Oh, okay. Pencil myself in at quarterback. Cool. Hey, man, good pick. I mean, it's definitely worth a shot. This first week, he could go off. He could go off for 40 points.
Yeah, you never know.
Crazy shit happens.
That's right.
Yeah. So my first one, Trevor Lawrence. He's over the threshold too, but 59%.
Okay.
He seems to be getting it going, man. He went, 321 for 3 tutties this week. Got Detroit coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Nice little layup game. Tennessee after that. And, he's rushing the ball anywhere from 1 yard to 53 yards a game. So,
right.
He seems to be getting it going a little bit, kind of catching on in this offense. I feel like last year was kind of a wash for him. He's one of those in his sophomore year that, may just kind of be getting things figured out and getting things going. So, he sure is making Zay Jones look good.
Yeah, he sure is, man. Zay Jones and Kirk.
Christian Kirk.
He's
got some weapons,
coming on.
man. Yeah, for sure. So,
I
think he's one that you could definitely take a shot on, especially this week. If you want to throw him in a daily lineup, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good one. If he was available in the league that I have to play Deshaun Watson in, I'd probably choose him over Deshaun Watson. But hey,
somebody's got him already.
This is where I'm at.
Yep.
All right, very good. Next up, I've got Jared Goff of the Lions, only 46% owned, has 20 plus points in 20 plus fantasy points 7 times this season. His rest of season games are the Jags, the Vikings, the Jets, the Bears, and the Panthers. And so, I think he can get you 20, plus, and then have some potential for more. Especially maybe during the Bears and Panthers games. So maybe even the Jags game. I don't know.
For sure, man. Well, cool. Another one I think that's coming on is Derek Carr. He's 63% owned, so still 37% of the leagues out there he's available in. 295 for 3 touchdowns this week, 20 plus in the last 4 games. So he's starting to get his feel down a little bit too, and I think he's one that's going to continue to put up some points, at least get you that 20 or above. He may have a ceiling. I don't see him giving more than 30 or so, but definitely a nice fill-in play for sure. Or somebody to run with, like you said, if you're running with Russell Wilson or if you're running with,
Brady.
Yeah, Brady or somebody like that, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, be a good one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
or Davis Mills. If you had Davis Mills as your quarterback, You're probably at the bottom of your league.
Yeah,
you're probably not even playing for the playoffs.
You're not even sniffing the playoffs if you've been starting middles this whole time. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, he's a good play. I mean, you're going to have Devontae Adams get you at least 150 yards a game. So that there's, let's say if he has a 300-yard game, well, at least half of his production is going to that one guy right there.
Yeah.
So that pretty much guarantees him 150. And then if he can hit Hollis, I think it's Hollis or Nollins or something like that, whatever it's called. But if he can hit that guy for another, 80, and then kind of spread it around maybe to the running backs for the rest. It's worth a shot. I like it. Yep. All right. So my last quarterback tonight is Ryan Tannehill of the Titans. I know you've been high on him so far, these past few episodes. He's only 19% owned, at least on the Yahoo side. It's probably higher on the ESPN side, but I was surprised to see he's under 20% owned. He has 26, 35, and 24 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So he's getting you into the mid-20s, with a 35-point ceiling. Has the Jags, the Texans in weeks 14 and 16. And so those are one.
Yeah, I like that, man.
Yeah, so there you go, man. He's got two good games, to be able to ball out in, and I think they've really been diversifying, their offense lately because the Titans have a pretty good record, and I think they're pretty much guaranteed a seat at the table for the NFL playoffs. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think they're going to want to grind out, Henry and, wear him out before they even get to the actual NFL playoffs. They want to get through an 18-game season. And so to pound Henry, 30 times a game just isn't sustainable. I think at some point they're going to want to kind of limit his workload and, throw the ball around and score in some other ways.
Yeah, I agree. And now that you got Traylon Burks coming on, he's starting to open up as a good fresh target for him. I think that's a good call, man.
Yeah. So Tannehill, that's my third QB. Any other QBs?
Yeah, I got one that you could just throw out there and see if it works out for you. Maybe defenses haven't figured him out yet, and that's Mike White.
Nice.
2.9% owned. I'm kind of shocked by that. I would have thought it'd been more like 0.9% owned.
Right.
But I guess maybe 2% went and picked him up in desperation or something. But hey, man, he went for 315 and 3 touchdowns this week. So
yeah, he did.
He was definitely slinging around a lot better than Zach Wilson. And if he keeps playing like this, Zach Wilson's going to find himself on the real waiver wire next week or next year.
Yeah, I think Zach Wilson's going to be backing up Russell Wilson next year.
Boy, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
The Wilson losers.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got Minnesota, Buffalo, and Detroit coming up. It might be one of those stash it and hold out, and when he plays Detroit, throw him out there, man. But I feel like even Buffalo, you can get some garbage time.
Right.
They beat Buffalo earlier this year too. So
that's right.
I feel like they can still play ball with them.
No, I really like Mike White, and the only reason why I didn't bring him up is because I've seen this exact scenario play out last year. I don't know if Zach Wilson was hurt or if he had COVID or whatever was going on with him. But Mike White came in there. I think he threw for like 400 yards and multiple touchdowns. I don't know if it was 3, maybe even 4 touchdowns. But he looked just incredible out there, just set the world on fire. The one game that he started, and then they put him in the second game, and he came back down to earth. And so I'm just kind of waiting to see that second game, and say, all right, is this sustainable? That's the only thing that I'm just kind of only because I've seen this before. You know what I mean? If I didn't see this exact same scenario play out last year, I would have wrote him down and be like, oh, who's this Mike White guy? Let's go. So I just want to wait. Yeah, I just want to see. I just want to see him. I want to see him do it again. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Look, if you got the top 1, 2, or 3 waiver wire picks, don't use it on Mike White.
No.
But if you're like sitting there 10 of 10 or 9 of 10 and you just want to throw it out there, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday morning, wake up early, see if he's sitting out there for you. Probably will be.
Yeah, exactly.
You can grab him and just see.
Yeah. He's a good leftover to scoop up, and stream, and to see if he can keep doing it. I mean, he's definitely got the locker room. I think who was that? Who's their number one wide receiver from Ohio State? Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
He looks fantastic with Mike White
Oh,
throwing
yeah.
to him. I think he had 95 yards and 2 tutties. We already talked about Elijah Moore. He's hungry. He wants to get fed.
Yeah,
and,
even Conklin looked better.
Conklin looks better.
Yeah.
They got Corey Davis still fighting for scraps in that offense. He's a competent receiver. So I think they can move the ball. Zach Wilson lost the locker room. The players didn't want to play for him anymore. So they gave him the hook, and he's sitting on the bench. Yeah. So I think the Jets are going to give him a fair shot. And if I was the coach of the Jets and ownership, I would just switch to Mike White and just let him play out the rest of the season and see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are on the brink of making the playoffs for the first time, and I think since 2014 or something like that. I think they've been like an 8-year playoff drought. So if this guy can carry the Jets into the NFL playoffs, exactly. So what do they got to lose, right? This is their best shot in a long time. So let's see it. Yep.
Let's pull out the stops. Cool. Do you have any more quarterbacks, or is that it?
Nope, that's it. Yeah, I'm fresh out of quarterbacks. So I didn't really write down any names to drop, today, but that's okay. Yeah. I guess we'll let our viewers make that decision.
I've got a few names here. I'm trying to decide if it's one to stash or if they're trash.
Okay, nice.
So
I like it.
One coming back. J.K. Dobbins, 55% owned. Looks like he's going to start practicing this week. What do you think, man? Is he one to stash on your roster or put in the trash can?
I say stash him. I saw some news on him today, and saying that he's likely to come back fairly soon. I think they activated him, off the IR and opened up the 21-day window. Let's just put it that way.
Yep.
And so that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play this coming weekend, but if you got, even in that 21-day window, he still can classify for the IR slot. So if you have an IR slot open in one of your leagues, you might as well just stick him in there and just leave him there for now. Assuming that he gets activated, for the fantasy playoffs for you. The Gus Bus looked decent this past weekend, but he wasn't slamming through defensive lines and going nuts.
Yeah.
He didn't.
He wasn't electric.
Taylor out there. No.
Yeah, he wasn't electric. He just he was a dude. He was
just
a bus.
Guy. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Mike Boone looks like he's coming back next week. 2.4% owned. So they cut Melvin Gordon. They sent him on his way. They've got Latavius Murray, man in the backfield right now with some help from some other spares. But Mike Boone looked pretty good when he was in action. He had some good plays, some good moves, looked like a receiving back. What do you think? Stash or trash?
I say trash that one. I don't think that the coaching staff has been sitting there clamoring for Mike Boone, thinking, gee, we're just going to barely get by with this here Latavius Murray guy. If only we had Mike Boone back, then we'd really be smashing it. I don't see it happening, man. I think this is Latavius Murray's backfield.
And sit Russell Wilson because they might as well just go to that Wildcat.
That's right.
What they got behind center is not very good. All right, cool. Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's trash. Let's see him come back. Let's see him come back and be a stud.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Before we go put him on a roster. Deshaun Jackson, 0.9% owned.
That's trash, man. Yeah, he got really lucky, with that 70-yard catch, from LJ. I don't know, man. I just don't see that consistently happening. I think that's probably the longest catch he's going to make this season. And so, it's just. I mean, they just don't consistently throw the ball to any wide receivers. I mean, I picked up that Demarcus Robinson guy, because he had a good game. I mean, it was out of complete desperation. I had no other, wide receivers to play, and he completely bombed on me. So he's going to be dropped. The way it works in the Ravens is you throw the ball to Mark Andrews consistently or even one other tight end, and then you run the ball, and that includes Lamar Jackson running the ball. So I don't think that offense has enough food for any wide receiver, period. None of them are going to eat. They're going to go hungry. So he's trash.
I mean, I think we've tossed up Duvernay. We've tossed up. I don't remember the guy's name anymore. One other dude that looked like he was going to be the guy, but yeah, you're right. That ball just goes all around the place, and Mark Andrews is the only consistent one.
Yep.
The pass catcher there. All right, cool. So we'll put him in the trash. Kadarius Toney.
Man,
57% owned. People are still hanging on to him.
I'd say to leave him on the bench, for one more week before you drop him. There was an encouraging report out on him today, saying that he's healing up and potential to play this weekend. So that doesn't mean you rush him back into your lineup, but maybe just keep him available on your bench and just see how it goes this weekend. If he tweaks that hammy again, all right, forget it. Dump him. Yeah. But it just depends on how desperate you are on some of these squads. Some of these these teams that you got. If you're playing somebody like Tyler Boyd and having to start him, you know what I mean? Then it's kind of worth to see what you got in Toney, for one more week, just out of sheer desperation. But if you've got just Keenan Allen and a couple other studs that you can play, consistently and fill up that roster, and this guy's just hanging on there, then you could drop him.
Yeah, cool. Hunter Renfrow, 33% on. Looks like he's week
trash.
or two out from coming back.
No, it's trash.
Trash.
I mean, even when he was healthy, he wasn't contributing enough to make a marked difference on anybody's fantasy squads. I don't think he saw, over 5 targets in any of those games when he was healthy. He was healthy for at least the 5 or 6 games of the season, right? He just wasn't getting the target share.
He's always a second half of the season guy. He never starts off strong. He's always on the waiver wire. Somebody you can pick up in a pinch. Probably one to leave on the waiver wire, pick him up on a pinch when he comes back, and just see. So, I agree with you there. Darren Waller, I know you love this guy. 68% of the people have held on to him.
Wow.
Looks like he's set to come back here pretty soon. Yeah. I know your answer to this. I think I probably would leave him out there too. Leave him in the trash.
For me, he's trash. He's burnt every bridge he could possibly have back to my squad. I've had him on my squads off and on for the past 2 years, and there's just no upside with this guy. I mean, I know we are in, tied in purgatory this season, and any faint, hope that he might be able to save your season is alluring to some people that are absolutely desperate at tight end. That don't have Andrews or Kelsey or even Kittle. That's probably those are those 62% of the people that are just kind of stashing him and getting by with a Conklin, and just hoping that he comes back. But man,
it's just amazing that 68% of still hang on there. To me, it's put him in the trash. If you spent your last dollar and you got nothing left, and you're hungry, you might go grab him.
He's the ultimate tease. Yeah, he's a tease. Forget it. Yeah.
All right, one last one. Carson Wentz, 8.8% owned.
Oh, trash.
Has he lost his job?
He's trash. Yeah, he's done. I don't know if he's on a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal or how it works, but I don't see him back with the Commanders, next season.
Yeah.
He's done. Yeah,
he had some solid games for me early in the season. Filled in on a pinch for sure, but
he did.
Cool. All right. Well, there's a few names I just kind of was scrolling through, just seeing people coming back from injuries to see, if it's somebody might want to put on the roster. But all right, cool. That was fun.
That's a good segment, man. I like it. Yeah, let's try to continue that one. I like it. Yeah, see who's coming back and see whether or not we see any promise there. I like it.
Right on, brother.
Okay.
Well, good. Well, that's all I've got, man. Good luck, dude. We got, like you said, 2 weeks left, so let's finish strong.
Yes, sir. All right.
Playoffs.
Leave nothing on the table. We got to fight to live another day.
That's right.
That's your motto this weekend, and then next week.
Yep. So those that got you here, let them carry you through. Don't get cute and fancy.
That's right. Play your studs where it's appropriate when they have good matchups, but have the foresight to bench somebody like, let's just say 8K. You know, he would have got me 7 points had I played him. You know, but I didn't put him in. I went with Ricard White from the Bucks. I think Ricard White got me like 16 to 19, somewhere in that range. When I would have gotten 7 from 8K. So yeah, but I understand your rule. You know,
Yep.
You dance. You dance with the partner that you brought to the dance. You know what I mean? So,
That's right.
Yeah. No, I get you. But
Yep. Cool. All right, brother. Well, good luck this week, and then we'll be back at this this time next week.
All right, brother. Well, good luck this week, and we'll talk soon.
All right, man.
Peace.